Yeah, I'm Paul Arch. Let me take you to part 2 of the Magnificent 7. Spelled it properly this time as well. Last time I talked about the 2 parts for you, the first 2 parts of Magnificent 7, which were the audio and internet speed. I want to take you on to the next few elements of virtual selling. I call it Magnificent 7 because it's got a great tone to it. It's a great film as well. You need to watch this on catch-up telly somehow along the line. So the third one for you I want to talk about is ambient noise. Ambient noise. Ambient noise. Now, ambient noise is not the sound, which we talked about last time, but ambient noise is the background noise around you, which when we first got locked down last year, people had a lot of background noise, but it was okay. You know, people kind of accepted it. It was just the way it was, and nobody really worried too much. Now we're getting better, more professional at our selling. We're not really allowed to have too much ambient noise. So what kind of noise you get? Well, the first noise that you may have been aware of is echo. Echo is a funny old thing, really. Echo comes from the noise that you're making echoing off the walls that you're operating from. Now, most people have plasterboard on their walls, which is basically just liquid rock, isn't it? Just moulded into a position. It's rock. Rock bounces sound just like that. So that's why you get echo. A lot of people will produce around the walls some kind of texture, almost like little egg cups, which has the ability to soften or take sound in and not bounce it back. Now, when we had the basement built, my builder put for me upstairs, up the top there, on the ceiling, the plasterboard was suppressive noise plasterboard. It's very expensive, but it hasn't got that sort of solid rock foundation. It doesn't echo sound so much. So that was particularly useful stuff, really, when it came to it. Hopefully you can't hear too much noise. Right now somebody just walked across the floor upstairs with their shoes on, and I can hear the sound. Whether that's coming through on the sound to the video, I don't know. Hopefully not. But there's always an element of ambient noise around you. You can, though, get software that suppresses noise, called noise suppressant software, or noise reducing is a better way of putting it, isn't it? Zoom, for example, has software apps built in which will reduce noise. So dogs barking, children playing, it will actually get rid of that noise digitally, which is quite clever, really. I think it also affects your own sound, so be careful how much of that you use. But you can get software where you run it through a website and it removes all the noise as well from websites and stuff like that. So all good stuff, really, to get rid of that ambient noise that's always around you when you're doing these videos. The other thing about noise is to use a good microphone as well. Now, depending on the microphone you use, microphones pick up sound all around, or they're more targeted. You can get what's called a shotgun microphone. That's what it's called, shotgun. It shoots itself at your mouth and only picks up what's coming from your mouth. Any other sound around you won't get picked up at all. Whereas this kind of microphone, which is the Yeti, this has the ability to change it. So this will pick up all around sound, or just sound in front of you. But if you're a distance from it, which I am now, that in itself will pick up all sorts of sound. So using a lapel microphone, which I have here, or a headset microphone, is quite good at just directing that sort of sound for you. So that's ambient noise. It'll always be there, unless you build a soundproof room in order to operate from, which is probably overkill for what you're using it for, then you may not have too much to worry about. But you know, when we're in offices and places like that, there's always noise, there's always a hubbub around you. I often hear office noise in the background when I'm talking to somebody on the phone. It's perfectly acceptable. Some people like to play that office noise. They get an MP3 file and play office noise in the background, which can suppress anything else. I think it's probably more in our heads than it is in the customer that you're talking to. But if there's a screaming baby next door, or a dog barking away like a good one, that'll certainly get picked up and might put off the flow of the conversation. That's ambient noise for you. Let's take a look at one more and then we'll wrap this one up for you. The second magnificent, or the fourth magnificent 7, is lighting. So let's put lighting up there for you, shall we? Let's put lighting here. Lighting. Now, you're on video with customers and chatting away one-to-one, maybe one to small groups, you might be doing presentations. You've got to get your lighting right if you want to look really professional. Now, there's a few things about lighting that you've got to be comfortable with. The first thing is, don't have anything behind you, lighting-wise. So you often see people, I call it witness protection, where you just see a dark face and behind them it's all bright because they've got the window behind them, or they've got a very bright light behind them, the sun coming through. That will kill the image completely. The reason for that is that Zoom or various other software, camera software, will look for the brightest light and will zoom in on that. So if the brightest light is behind you, it will accentuate that to the detriment of your face. So never have a window or a light behind you because it will kill the look completely. That's the first rule. I think we probably all know that. So if you're going to have lighting, have it in front of you, which is great. A lot of people like to buy a little ring light or an LED light that they have in front of you about that distance, maybe behind the camera obviously. You don't want the light in front of the camera. And that lights up the face and does a reasonably good job at that. And that's pretty fair enough, and there's not much more you need to do. If, however, you're going to turn to artificial light, you then need to start controlling the light a lot more. If you're doing presentations or group demonstrations or something, you might want to look at lighting a bit more than just that. Now, one of the challenges I've got here is behind me I have a whiteboard. Now, whiteboards, by their very nature, will reflect light. So if I put a light in front of me now, it'll reflect it on the lightboard, or the whiteboard, sorry, and you don't want that great big sort of beam there reflecting. So my lighting has to be to the side, and it has to be above, which it is. And therefore, I've got lighting, you can see it. Well, you can't see it, but you can see the effect of the lighting, because it's lighting up the whiteboard and it's lighting me up so that I can be seen quite clearly on camera. The better the lighting, by the way, the better the image on the camera, the better the resolution becomes, because the lighting itself helps with camera lenses. A couple of things on lighting though. First of all, your glasses, I wear glasses, there is a reflection, you can see it. If I turn to the lights over there, you can see the reflection. If I turn to the lights over there, you can see the reflection. You can get anti-glare reflective lenses on your glasses, and that gets rid of those as well. So that's my challenge with lighting. Now, a lot of people like to use a green screen. Here I have a green screen, which I just bring down from there. Now, green screens, of course, need to be lit as well, otherwise they don't work so well. I've got lighting behind me and I've got lighting in front of me, and that lights up the green screen quite well. The whiteboard is lit quite well, I think, but the lighting I have here is not portable, it stays put, so I just need to switch it all on because I have a dedicated room for this. Those of you using a spare room or a study or a dining room would have to bring lighting in when you need it. Bit of a pickle really, that as well. Final little tip on lighting for you. If you don't want too much lighting in front of you, you can light the wall in front of you, and that gives a glare. Look, right now I've got two very big lights, you can't see them, but they're actually lighting the wall, which is white, which is then beaming back good sort of diffused light on me rather than blinding me. Sunlight's fine. I tend to control the sunlight from here because to me the sunlight you can't turn up down, can you? Whereas natural lighting or artificial lighting you can do. So that's a few thoughts about lighting for you. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it, it's not expensive, but you do need to get your lighting right because it just makes everything look fine. There we have the fourth magnificent 7. I'll catch you shortly with the next 3.